Gladius Prime was a bastion of humanity, newly colonized. A suitable base for our chapter to rebuild and recruit. We Space Marines raised our fortress here, grew strong again. But the Orc invasion brought a warp storm that cut off our Emperor's light. And the dread Necrons crawled from the earth beneath our feet. War was on all sides, yet we are the Emperor's chosen. We do not dread the dark, or quail at the relics of old. Terror is for those who oppose us. We know no fear.
Hello and welcome to 40K Gladius, Relics of War. This is a game where you can create skirmish battles with all of your favourite 40k factions, or at least most of them. Astra Militarum, Chaos Space Marines, Necrons, Orcs, Space Marines, Tau or Tyranids, all with their own playstyles, very similar to how they work in Tabletop, at least from what I can gather. The Tau being the latest faction added as DLC, so I imagine they'll add more factions as we go, so if your favourite faction is missing, fear not, they might just make it in. But you've still got plenty of choices to choose from. Now this is a 4x turn-based strategy game, where you set up a game, there's no proper campaign or anything, it's just kind of skirmish games, which you can customize how you like. You can add up to 15 AI factions if you want to, and put them on teams, so you can have 3 versus 3 versus 3 versus 3 if you like, and just have a mad out free-for-all. You can also change their difficulty as well. You can also customize the map to however you want, big, small, with lots of snow, lots of desert, lots of landmass, more water, or you can go for a Star Wars crossover and try to make Endor with a massive forest map. So there's plenty of customization to keep it interesting. When it comes into the game, you have your cities that you need to manage. They're very simple and are mostly there to be factories for your armies. And with that, you'll have the resource management side of things, keeping it all balanced, keeping it running smoothly, so that you can build the biggest, baddest army around. You'll have to research new troops to be able to unlock them first, which will take turns, but eventually you'll be able to amass a large force of a lot of your favourite units from Tabletop. If you're the Space Marines, you got good old Dreadnoughts, regular Space Marines, Predator tanks, Devastator Space Marines, Assault Space Marines. You'll have single heroes that are either very powerful or great for supporting the rest of your army. Again, very much all like Tabletop. Moving through the game, it's all hexagonal tiles, like in many 4X strategy games, so it should feel somewhat familiar to many of you. You then move to your targets and decide what you want to do to them. You can either just straight up attack them, or you'll have a bunch of abilities that you may be able to strategically use. And of course, all the units have their own stats, health, armor, morale. They'll all have their role. Are they good at armor piercing? Are they not? Are they good at taking down vehicles? Are they good at melee? Are they good at range? And then you have things like faction abilities, which can be unlocked through research, like this orbital strike I just dropped on this Tyranid city. So yeah, that's the basic gist of it. Now let's get into just a couple of skirmishes to show you what it's all about. So here I've got my Space Marines, and I was moving up to try and deal with some Chaos Space Marines who have a bunch of cities up here, but what I arrived to find was a bunch of Necrons who had the same idea. They came looking for the Chaos Space Marines, as did we, so we just kind of ended up having a bit of a battle ourselves. And I'm trying to get rid of these Triarch Praetorians, as these hit pretty damn hard in melee, so they're always a priority for me to take out first. But a lot of the Necron stuff often hits pretty hard, and they regenerate, so they can be a bit of a nightmare to deal with. And I'm trying to decide who to move up. You can see all the tiles have different things going on them, and these can all have effects on your troops. So if you're in the forest, that'll make it harder to move through, but you'll be invisible and hidden in the forest. You can move into a city where you'll have reduced range damage potentially. If you stand on those pinky looking tiles, then you'll take damage because that's wireweed and that hurts, and you can't run through it. So yeah, got to think about which tiles you're on, because they can make a huge difference. Now I've got an orbital strike here. Not sure who to use it on, because all these goddamn things are so freaking dangerous. You can see on the left there, attack estimate. That'll show me how much damage I'm going to do to these units, and that's what I'm looking at when I'm trying to choose which one to do it on. Going to go with these. They'll seem to take a hell of a lot of damage from it, and they goddamn hurt. So taking those down a peg. And now that they've got less robot skeletons in their unit, they won't do so much damage. So we're just trying to wear things down. Could finish these off. Not quite. My tank's got a lot of choices. do kind of want to get rid of units more than anything. I could damage any of these units, but I don't want to let them regenerate because they'll run off when they're low on health and they'll regenerate and come back. So if I can take the units out, that is generally a better call than just trying to damage multiple units at once. Let's get the tank to finish off these. We also put a hit on their Necron warriors. So nice. Wearing them down, trying to get rid of them. Pushing them aggressively. We've got to be careful of the chaos though. That's why I've got a few boys down this right side in case they try to flank me down there, because their cities, well, we're right next to and fighting outside of their cities. They were over here just now, but they kind of fell back when they saw two armies coming for them. Probably wise. I've got a bunch of units that are healing. They're the ones sat on the blue tiles. Those are outposts that can be captured for resources and healing. It's the AI's turn now. Necrons are making their moves. They regenerated some health. Did some damage to my tank. Getting some defensive protocols from their hero. Oh, here comes the Triops. Putting some serious damage on my tank. Oh, that is a lot of damage. Might need to pull that back. Okay, let's weigh up our options here. We got to think strategically. Make some good choices. We can put some good damage on some Triops there. Our Devastators would have to move. We got more Assault Marines here. Can't jump jet them over anywhere. A little bit limited in space. We'll go for these. Try and put some hurt on the Triops. Oh, they had Overwatch. Oh, we lost a fella. Pull the tank back a little bit. Might as well put fire on something. We're getting Overwatch fired. Okay, let's get the Dreadnought going in. He does plenty of damage. We'll move him here. He can act as a bit more of a tank in the open. Slap some of those Triops down. Okay, let's get some shots off. Well, we're in the forest, so we can't shoot from there. We can get them from here, though. Not going to do great damage to any of these things. We're really better off taking out vehicles and stuff with Devastators. We'll move over here and try and wear these down, though, these warriors. Sometimes we've got to make do. Ah, there we go. That Stalker will take a ton of damage from my Devastators, as they are the bosses of taking down vehicles. Although I didn't quite get as much damage done as estimated. So there is a bit of a dice roll going on how much damage you do. Again, just a little bit more of a tabletop thing going on there. And we're going to keep pushing up. Bring our forces forward. We are in a little bit of a choke point, so we're limited on where we can move. But we've still got plenty of reinforcements to move up if we should need them. So we shouldn't have any problem taking care of these Necrons. And then we just got to try and hopefully if they go away, push on the Chaos cities. But then maybe the Chaos will come back and we may need to retreat and replenish. Because we don't have any healing at the moment. I need to unlock the healing unit. And my city's okay. Don't need to do anything here really. I just built this. A Thunderfire cannon for a bit of ranged support. It's going to take it a fair few turns to get up here. But once it does get here, I'm sure it will be useful. And the Space Marines can only actually have one city, which puts them a little bit at risk. But they do get fortress towers, which can be put on outposts to help them defend it. But most other factions can have as many cities as they want, I think, or at least more than one. So you can have 2 or 3, maybe 4, maybe 10. I don't know. I haven't tried making 10, so I'm not completely sure. Now let's see what these Necrons do. They're zapping at my Dreadnought. He didn't take too much damage though. Triops are being a pain though. Whoa, they wiped some of my boys out nearly. Warriors popping shots on my tanks. Tanks aren't in a condition to be taking this. We need to put some hurt on them. Here we go. Let's get some Marines over. Get up close and personal, lads. Blast them in the face. Oh, Scheisse. What is that? A Canoptek spider. Oh, Christ. I don't even know what that is. I've not even seen one of those before. We'll devastate it. Hit him with the Devastators. Nice damage. About half health damage. I'll take it. Dreadnought. What can you do? Oh, he can take down this Stalker if he goes into melee. Let's do that. Oh, bit of Overwatch from the Praetorians. Ding that spider down. Nice. Reducing their troops. Okay, let's jump these boys. Well, this boy out of here. He's the only one left alive. He's made it out with his jump pack though. That is one of his perks, being an Assault Space Marine. And let's get these other Assault Space Marines to put some damage on the Praetorians. Chainsaw them up, boys. Or maybe we should... We got some grenades, actually. Not sure which does most damage. Crack grenades could get them addicted. I think we'll just go for the old chainsaw to the face. Seem to do pretty well. Okay, who to pull back and who to bring forward. We've got a bunch of fresh troops back here. Let's pull these tanks back. They've taken a fair old pounding. I've got a fresh tank here and a fresh dreadnought. They should be able to move up and finish off what's left of them. Let's get these regular marines over. Let's put some hurt on nobody. Oh wait, I pulled the wrong one back. I meant to pull this one back. I pulled the slightly better health one back when I meant to pull the nearly dead one out. It's okay, we don't need either desperately for now. Here we go. Finish off these Praetorians dreadnought. Smosh, smosh, down they go. Don't want to move too close to the Chaos City. You will get shot by the city itself and any units that are near the city. And we can't see everything because of the fog of war. So we'll just do what we can. Got a couple of kills there, nice. Okay, I think we're good for this turn. I think we've used everyone up. Got our captain back here, we'll bring him up. Try and get some work done. Still got some devastators. Let's take the risk. Gonna dive into it a little bit close to the city. Didn't get any Overwatch shots. Did some nice work to this stalker. We're okay. We'll see if anything advances on them though. Got this tank. Let's bring this up. Oh, never mind. Turn's already gone. But I think we've taken out or pushed back a lot of the Necrons, although they still seem content on trying to go after that Chaos City, so I should probably just let them because, you know, the enemy of my enemy and all that. Oh, crap. That is a Chaos Marine Helldrake. That is going to cause us some problems. So there we go. Taking on Necrons when trying to go and take out Chaos Space Marines. You can see some Chaos Cultists just came out the woodwork there. Our Overwatch taking them down though. Are they going to do anything? Oh, all this Overwatch. They're getting slaughtered. Good job I had the units down the right side. But there it is. A bit of Space Marine action. Now here's one incredibly fun thing I feel I must show you that you can do with Orcs, which is something I believe you can do in tabletop, and that is to take a weird boy who is kind of the Orc caster, and he has an ability called the Jump, which can teleport him and any adjacent units to anywhere on the battlefield. Literally anywhere, as long as you've discovered it. So you can see the potential of this, and that is exactly what we're going to do right now. We've got a couple of Gorkanauts, nice big massive war machine basically, a couple of killer cans, and then I've got a bus. But what's inside this bus? 3 units of Mega Knobs, a War Boss, a Pain Boy, some regular boys. Then I've got another bus full of all just boys. So I've got 6 units of boys in this bus that are all going to pour out of it. And then I've got another bus which is full of rocket launcher boys and flash kits. So yeah, you can see where this is going. You can see the bomb that I'm going to drop on somebody's city. Now over here I've got 2 big Tyranid cities. They are the last army on this map for me to finish off. And by Jove, I'm going to jump all up in their land, unload busloads of orcs, and just enjoy the destruction. I've got a small party here to move up and just cause a bit of a distraction, and then I'm going to fly a plane over so I can discover the area where I want to jump to, because I've got to have enough clear tiles to be able to move all my stuff over, otherwise they'll get left behind. So let's push up, try and find where we need to drop our boys. So the time is now for the weird boy. We're going to go for it. I've sent my plane in just to try and scout and find us a good bit of land to drop us behind enemy lines. I think here is good. We'll be a little bit in the wireweed, but it's not a big deal. Oh shit, there's loads of stuff back here. Here's all the Tyranid units then. They're going to drop some Overwatch on us. We can't drop any attacks just yet, but we can unload our boys. So let's start getting all the boys out. Just pouring units of orcs. I mean, you could do this with 6 buses. Or I say buses, they're actually called battle wagons, but I like to call them a bus. It's the Orc Bus, alright? So yeah, you could do this with 6 buses, each with 6 orcs in them. So that's 36 orcs that you could teleport somewhere and just unload and run down somebody with a green tide. But you know, I think Gorkanauts are going to do a fair bit of damage. So I think they're a worthy choice to teleport. Now let's start to get some damage on this city. And then the rest of my buses can start to unload and cause utter mayhem. So you've got different choices and strategies that you can pull off. This is one I like to use. It's pretty damn fun to just drop a whole ton of orcs on an enemy settlement and watch them try to defend it as they panic, which would make this especially fun to do in multiplayer because there is a multiplayer versus or co-op mode which you can play. So this would be incredibly funny to do to somebody, especially if they didn't know you could do it. Boris. The enemy turn's going on now. We're taking some hits, as you might expect. There is a lot of Tyranids in this area. I don't know why they were all gathered at the back here. Maybe they've got another city back here somewhere. We're going to take some hits, but we should be just fine. A lot of attacks coming in. Carnifexes around. Harrispexes. Putting some hurt on our Gorkanauts early. Our killer cans, they're okay. As soon as we can unload all our mega knobs and war bosses, we'll be just fine. And as you can imagine, the green slaughter did ensue. So this has just been a little look at Warhammer 40k Gladius Relics of War. A game that I found a long time ago, which I played on and off, but recently I've been getting into it a lot more, and I thought I'd just recommend it to you good people, because there's many people out there who are probably like me. I really enjoy the idea of 40k tabletop, but I just don't have the time for it, unfortunately. As much as I'd love to get into it and to learn how to paint all the models and to play it on a proper physical board, I just don't have the time, like many of you. So when I'm looking for the closest thing that I can get to that, this is what I found. I've looked at a bunch of different other 40k games and tried a few out, but this is the closest thing to tabletop, at least in my eyes. Maybe there's something better, do let me know, maybe I've missed something. And obviously there's lots of great 40k games out there already, like Dawn of War and Battlefleet, but neither of those are really tabletop-ish. And as I say, this I think is probably the closest thing we're gonna get. Other than, I know, Tabletop Simulator 40k, which does look kind of cool, but also very fiddly and not very user-friendly, so not really the ideal experience, whereas this you get the kind of strategy campaign side of things as well, where it's not just moving units around a table, you do kind of get objectives and things to do with your cities. So, do check it out if you're interested. I'm personally thoroughly enjoying it, looking forward to anything they may add to the game as well, a lot of potential I think. So overall, a good fun, simple 4X strategy game which focuses on building armies and battling with them, which personally for me is perfect because I'm a bit of a 4X noob. I've never really put a lot of time into 4X strategy games, so this is a good place to learn for me because it's all fairly simple and not too overcomplicated, and it focuses on the battles, which is something personally I am more about. While I do enjoy managing cities somewhat, I mostly play these types of games for the fighting. I don't want to be worrying too much about resource management and economy. I want to be smashing gits in the face with a freaking axe. And Gladius really has a nice blend and combination of those two things going on. I get a little bit of management, but I also get lots of fighting. So if you're looking for a 4X game with lots of micro city management economy stuff, this one probably won't be for you because it's all very simple. It's more about the strategic battles of all your different units. But there we go. 40k Gladius. Do check it out on Steam or GOG if you're interested. And I thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. I will see you in the future.